It's easy access to money, and it's the #1 reason people struggle financially, because they overextend on credit cards. It's way too easy to walk into a furniture store and give out a piece of plastic and buy a new couch than it is to take $400 out of your pocket and give them cash. It's way too easy with a credit card. This is where they run into problems, but we're gonna see in a minute is where these problems really get compounded. And you're gonna be educated not to make the same mistake. Most credit cards carry huge interest rates, 20% or above. They're making tons of money. It starts with their interest rate, huge interest rate. Here's a concept we're gonna take 5 minutes to talk about. About 15 or 20 years ago, someone brilliant in the credit card industry said, let's start charging a minimum payment due. This minimum payment due has probably been the #1 reason in the credit card area why people are struggling. And it's because of the language that the credit card companies use that most people don't understand that really gets them in trouble. And it's not because they're not intelligent people, it's because the credit card companies are specifically using language that make it difficult for you and me to understand what we should be paying. Let's look at real life examples. These are real credit card statements. In fact, between the first session and the second session, I just got an email on what I was owed, and I wasn't gonna take time to try to pop it up because it's just as misleading as all these other ones. I am not anti-credit card. Okay, I just mentioned a minute ago, I think they're important in our life. I am against how they tell you and me we should be paying our bills and what we should be paying. This is to make sure that you don't fall into that pitfall, that trap. A little hard to read. This is a Visa card. Your statement is ready. Yahoo, I get to pay money. That's okay. I spent the money on my credit card. $3,200 is my balance. Minimum payment due $40. Payment due date May 24th. I'm looking at that and I'm like, all right, I gotta pay $40. That's not gonna kill me this month. That's okay. $3,200 is what I owe. I'm gonna write them a check for $40 because that's what they told me is the minimum amount I pay, and that's what I want to pay. I want to pay the minimum. So where people get really kind of fooled and destroyed is the difference. Does anyone have a calculator on their phone? Somebody tell me the difference between $3,204 and $40. He's knocking it out. So $3,164 is going to start getting charged 20% interest that I have to pay because this credit card company told me I only had to pay $40. That's going to drive me into the financial cell. That's what they're not telling us. Let's look at the next example. American Express. Very reputable company. You may have heard about them. Same with Visa, same with MasterCard. They're all large businesses. They're all reputable companies. Statement balance, $12.56. Recent purchase, about $18. Total balance, $12.74. Payment due, $474. What's somebody gonna pay if they get this financial statement sent to them? Exactly. They're gonna pay $474 because that's what it says to pay. Here's my calculator, buddy, right here. What's the difference? $12.74 and $4.74. And I'll pay $800. $800 you're gonna start charging me 20% interest on every single month because I paid what I thought I should pay here with payment due. This is the way they make billions and billions of dollars, by people paying this number and not this number. Look at my third and final example here. This is the one that really kills me. And I am kind of passionate about this because a lot of America is falling into financial issues here because they're reading the language that these credit card statements are saying to them. And they just didn't go through a session like this, or they didn't have parents in their 20s that told them to kind of how to handle these things. And it's at no fault of their own. And now all of a sudden they owe all this money to credit card companies and they can never get ahead of it. It's a real problem. Last example, it's a little hard to see. MasterCard. We've probably all heard of MasterCard. Some of us may have a MasterCard. Some of us have family that has a MasterCard. I have a MasterCard. $12.45 is my statement balance. Minimum payment due, $29. You know what? I'm gonna pay $29 this month because that's the minimum payment due. Well, we just had a discussion that MasterCard's now gonna charge me huge interest on the difference. But look at this. Look what they put down here right on the statement. On the one hand, you'd be like, good, they're a little bit more open than the other ones, because they say, if you only pay the minimum payment, it's gonna take you 5 years to pay this off, and you'll have spent $1,858, even though you only owe $1,245. That's a lot. That's on top of my next month's statement that I'm gonna owe money for. Then they say, but you know what? If you paid $44, which is just 15 more than the 29, good news. It's only gonna take you 3 years to pay it off. It's gonna cost you $1,584, and you saved $274. Saved $274. I spent $1,584 and I only owe $1,245. The way that they're using the English language and the math so they can make billions of dollars in profits by not being clear in their explanation is shameful to me. And I don't want to see anybody in this room fall into that trap, just like we might have relatives that did. I think I mentioned earlier to this group, my cousin and his wife, they were both spenders. The wife ended up filing bankruptcy because they divorced. And then she filed bankruptcy. This was her problem. She just kept paying the minimum. Or she was fooled into thinking, well, you know what? I can save money if I put in 44 instead of 29. That's really bad that they do that, and they shouldn't do that. And when you get credit card statements in the mail, or you get them online, I hope that you're gonna see the difference moving forward.